As we reach the 1 week mark in MLC Season 2, let's see what the past games have to offer. So looking at the table first, we can see that there's not really any standout teams yet. Every team's won a game, and almost all of the teams have also lost a game. In terms of points, the top and bottom teams are only separated by 1. Because all the teams are so close together in points, net run rate will be a huge factor when it comes time for the playoffs. My prediction for the coming games is that Washington Freedom will keep their spot near the top of the table. The two teams which they have played already, being the Texas Super Kings and MI New York, are both in the top half of the table, which means their coming few games should be a bit of an easier schedule than they've had recently. Also knowing that Texas Super Kings and MI New York have consecutive matches against each other, it's clear that one of these teams may not keep their spot in the top for long. Moving on from the table, let's talk about some of the standout performances from the last week. There have been great displays of batting and lots of runs have been scored. Even in the first week, we've already had 2 centuries, one from Faf du Plessis against the Washington Freedom and one from Ryan Rickleton against the Los Angeles Knight Riders. In the season opener, it was Nicholas Puran against the Seattle Orcas, scoring 62 off 37, and he was batting on a tricky pitch which no other batter seemed to be able to succeed on. One of the best parts about MLC is being able to watch American players compete with international players and showcase their talent on the field. That's why it's so cool to see that more than half of the top 10 wicket takers have been American. Just to shout out some players, Saurabh Netravalkar for the Washington Freedom has been bowling brilliantly against international and overseas players. Ali Khan had a great game against the Texas Super Kings, taking 3 wickets in that 1 over. And another player who might be getting a little overshadowed by his international teammates, but he's still bowling amazingly, is Ihsan Adil. He has the best economy in the league, only bettered by his teammate Trent Bolt. And MI New York's bowling lineup of Rashid Khan, Trent Bolt, Enric Norque, and Kagisa Rabada, when you add Ihsan Adil to that, it just makes their bowling lineup the most complete and arguably the scariest in the league. Let's wrap up today's review with 3 takeaways from the past week's games. Takeaway number 1, anybody can beat anybody. There's a lot of stars in this year's tournament, and that means that there's going to be a lot of really powerful teams. However, as we've seen from the past few games, these teams are a lot closer than we thought, and any team can beat any other team on a given occasion. Takeaway number 2, Americans are the differentiator. What I mean by this is that the Americans' performances matter as much, if not more, than the overseas performances when contributing to their wins. Every team has loads of overseas talent, and those players are bound to play well. What really makes the difference in this tournament is how much you can get out of your American players. I think we'll see later on in the tournament how much more impactful the American players can be and how much of a difference they'll make in the games. Takeaway number 3, the weather and pitch have a huge impact on the game. We saw in the first couple games that it was super hot in Mooresville in Texas, and it was really taking its toll on the players. And from this, we thought maybe teams may decide to field second in order to keep their energy and avoid the midday heat. However, once the rain was here, the pitches became a bit more unpredictable to play on. There is more rain expected to come, so we'll have to see what kind of impact that has on the games. Just know that all of these scenarios are day-to-day, so it could be different for any given match. As we wrap up today's video, let me know in the comments what you thought about last week's games. What was your favorite moment? What predictions do you have for future games? That's all for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for our next video.